Hello?
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Hi, everyone.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Game Changer Podcast. My name is JL, and this is my beautiful wife,
Triana.
and we are back. Episode, I have no idea, 6 or 7, one of those. What is up? What is good? Let's talk. Let's get right into it.
Yes. What's going on?
A lot is going on. Oh man, the freaking world is on fire. Well, I shouldn't say the world, but the United States is on fire right now. We have the video of rest in peace to George Floyd. That pretty much triggered the events that's happening now with the protest, social media movements. Everyone is getting involved, and it's about damn time, because it took this death for y'all to really, really hop on the bandwagon. I'm not talking about my peoples or anything like that. I'm talking about the rest of America. Corporations don't want, they was on the wrong side of history, and now they're seeing, oh my goodness, we're wrong. The NFL saying, we were wrong. It's good that they admitted that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what did you expect to happen? This is what's been happening this entire time. What do you thought he was just protesting just to protest?
I don't even, and I know that I read that post earlier in the week, or their statement or whatever. I don't even know if they really necessarily said that they were wrong. They were just kind of acknowledging where we're at right now.
No, they said we were wrong.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, they said it. You know why they admitted that they were wrong? Because it was going to affect their bottom dollars. Because that video came up and it was like, damn. All right, let's try to have some damage control.
And when was it, before or after they made a statement that Drew Brees came out with his statement that he then later on had to apologize for?
I believe it was kind of like after Drew Brees' statement. Drew Brees, I don't know. You've done some good stuff from what I've read about in the New Orleans community. But what you've said actually is it's your true nature, man. It's like you can do so many good things, but at the same time, the truth will always come out, man.
It's the issue of well-meaning white people, or progressive or liberal white people,
right?
Ally-intentioned white people that I do these certain acts, of kindness, of good heart, and what have you. But and again, like you said, he's done a ton of work or charity or whatever for
donated millions,
the city of New Orleans. And yet when it comes to race relations in our country, you're literally tone deaf, because it was explicitly clear why Colin was kneeling. And yet, even after all of this, you still had your post that you put out about thinking that the kneeling was about the flag and military families. When
they've been told y'all, it's not about the flag. It's not about the flag.
They've been told clearly communicated, right? So, I've just noticed though that there's been a major shift though,
which is good.
With
which is good.
A lot of people. White people and people, marginalized community, and people of color that are more invested now than before because of
that killing that was caught on camera.
Atrocity.
They've been told y'all this.
It was not the first.
It's not the first
that we've seen
exactly
that has gone viral or made national news. It was just the way that George was murdered by this police officer,
all caught on tape, for
as long as it lasted, caught on tape. It was very traumatic. So it hit differently for a lot of people this time, and although there's, you know, a lot going on right now in terms of protest, rioting, looting, all this stuff going on, that can seem like, oh, we're in like the thick of it, and it's like dark right now, and we're deep, and like we don't know where the light at the end of the tunnel is. For me anyways, it feels like a shift. Like it feels like some sort of like tipping point in history right now, where like we're shifting.
It definitely feels different.
So there is that, but it was just like, you know, we were talking about Ahmaud Arbery, and I don't want to say like moving on, but you know how the media and like social media and stuff like has a
short term
attention span and all that. And so it was a thing of like, oh, we've started the path of getting justice by, you know, exposing what happened, and petitions and raising money, donating, doing all these things to ensure that these men that murdered him would be arrested. And it was like we barely took a breath or a step until this happened. And within the same week, though, I don't know if it was a day apart or if it was 2 days apart. Like everything seems a bit of a blur to me right now because there's just a lot going on. The whole situation with Amy Cooper in Central Park in New York City, the Ramble area, Central Park, and what she did, and using her like white privilege, her white female privilege, and weaponized it basically by threatening a black man and telling him this is what she was doing, that I'm going to call 911 and tell them that an African American man is threatening me, all because he was telling her to follow the rules of the park.
Yeah, all he said was just, yo, you gotta leash your dog. You
gotta leash your dog. Like, that's literally the law rule. The rule of the park rule. And she just couldn't have that. She just couldn't, you know, be told what to do. And so she said it. She threatened him that she would do it, and went ahead and did it. So she knew what she was doing, right? And so we literally were really upset up in arms about that. And then,
but that happens. Those type of videos surfaces a lot, but America's never moved like this before. You know what I mean? Where it's not just black people; it's like all communities, all colors are seeing this. You're starting to see, you know, at the end of the day, we're human, and you felt, you know, that video was just so graphic. You know what I mean? Like it scarred. You know, it scarred me.
I am traumatized. I don't want to see that again.
It had me down for a whole week. Like I really was.
I hadn't seen that.
Right. I was feeling down, and I felt like, you know, America was feeling the same way, and with COVID and all that, being quarantined, like it was just like the perfect storm. Yeah, it was just a perfect storm of people just getting together, being fed up with it, and just wanting to just make a statement saying, you know, black people are being, you know, they'll say we've been told y'all this, and then the white folks is like apologizing for it. You know, I've seen posts where they're saying, you know, I apologize to Cap for what he was doing. It wasn't about the flag the whole time. We do have an issue here. The moment y'all can acknowledge an issue, we can move forward and get some progression going on in this country. But if someone is bringing up an issue saying, hey, I have an issue here in my community, and y'all just be like, y'all just go ahead and just, you know, push it to the side, don't acknowledge it. And that, you know, that seems to be the miscommunication within the communities and stuff like that. But I feel like what's happening now is good in a way, because it's moving something. It's getting people uncomfortable. It's making headline news every day. It's getting people to talk about things. And the best thing for me is actually exposing a lot of people that I know or knew, which is, for me personally, is the best thing for me, you know, to see where people stand. After all that, some people making excuses for what the police did. You know, I got nothing against the police. They got a job to do. Like I don't like corrupted police. You know what I mean? So it's like people can justify all this stuff that's happening. And it's like, yo, you know, it's clear as day what's going on with this man, or just the justice system in general when it comes to just people of color, mainly the African American community. So if you guys can acknowledge that there's a systematic oppression going on that's been placed to have people that's not white start behind the finish line, and just all we're trying to do is play catch up. That's it.
And get stomped on along the way.
Right. So, but we're not gonna let up, and making sure y'all stay aware and woke of what's going on, and go to the protest, and be safe out there, man. Take the proper precautions, especially with this COVID thing still around. I haven't heard one headline news or anything about COVID. That's the scary part about this whole thing. It's like they have not mentioned anything up until recently. I think in Florida, the cases went up 4,000, like within the past week or something like that. So it's going to be a slow creeper. Yeah. It's going to come back stronger.
I mean, it's summertime is approaching, and it's not like flu season when that occurs. So I don't know if that'll help curve it at this point. I know already some states or cities have opened up, and where we're at in New Jersey is going to be soon as well. But yeah, we're going to see about that. I mean, when we are out for like grocery shopping or takeout, the places that have been open or open still require us to wear masks, which I'm very comfortable doing. Mm-hmm. I will do that. That is fine.
We're going to be wearing masks all year long, probably until the end of next year.
So yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot going on. And then like on top of like people just now finally seeing like how bad things are, you're also seeing like certain celebrities saying problematic things, and like black celebrities saying problematic things, because and this is just me trying to reason like what comes out of their I can't hear myself, what comes out of their mouths of just being financially, like economically privileged, that they've been very far removed. And with the celebrity, it's economics, and then also fame, right? And like different levels of fame, because we've seen still that doesn't absolve you from being discriminated against, regardless. But for some, it's just like they're in this bubble where they're not getting it. And I hope with all that's going on, it is like they are getting slapped in the face with this, like cases have, because I mean, Black Twitter, the internet's like, they're not gonna let down. They're gonna let you know you're wrong, and they're gonna check you, or they're gonna cancel you, or cancel you. So, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to touch on that, and we're gonna dive into a new world here with our health, and then with the protesting. Like, it's really we're really 2020 is moving into something scary, and I only say scary is because I don't know what's at the other end of this. Yeah, what's the new normal? I don't know. I can't imagine what's in place. Now, conspiracy theorists would tell you, it's martial law, and they're gonna do the new world order, but it's stuff like that never actually happens when you expect it. It just happens. You know what I mean? I felt like we already had a new world order like 10 years ago with technology and smartphone and stuff like that. I don't think that's ever going to be in your face, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen within like the end of this year with the election, and that's going to get, what's going to happen in America with this election. What if Donald Trump doesn't want to get out of office? We got to think about
what if he don't? He's trying to get reelected.
No, what I'm saying is, what if he doesn't get reelected?
Can we talk about the companies that are canceled now because of their donations? Man,
this is crazy. All right, let's get into it. We'll talk about the election some other time.
Facebook, Zuckerberg. I'm not surprised.
Well, we can't. I can't ban Facebook because I do my business on Facebook. So.
I'm just going down the list.
My personal account is definitely not active, but when it comes to my fan page,
I'm just going down the list that we saw.
The one that broke my heart was Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we have to take a stand. You know, like I'm gonna have to just make Chick-fil-A at the crib. I'm gonna have to look up how to make Chick-fil-A sauce and all that stuff.
Well, you figured out the sandwich.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not mad at that.
But also, this, and I'm not gonna fraud, I eat it too. But this shows, our cisgender heterosexual privilege. Because Chick-fil-A been problematic, in regards to
true.
Targeting and discriminating against the gay community, the LGBTQ community. So they've been an issue before, and
True.
then
How about,
so I'm not. It's it's just, I guess, like another whammy. Like, I'm not like shocked, but it's just like, come on.
It's crazy because you know what the best part about Chick-fil-A is just really the treatment that you get.
Yeah. Well, and this is what like blows my mind, because it's and I haven't read specifically who it all is. I'm making an assumption it's the founders or the CEOs of these companies that have donated hundreds of thousands of dollars for Trump's reelection campaign. But it's just like, what? But you just have like employee and you serve people of all races. You employ a ton of people of color, a ton of black people. It's just such a slap in the face. Like you literally need us for sustainability, like to survive, for like your company and to make a profit. But what matters to you is to reelect somebody that is just so hateful and such a bigot, because you don't want to pay the fair amount of taxes on all the money that you have coming in.
It's business, man. They're making a business decision. So
who else? McDonald's, Taco Bell
been canceled. Wendy's, I don't really mess with Wendy's.
Pizza Hut.
I haven't had Pizza Hut
we haven't had pizza in a
long time. I remember we're getting the
long time.
After you read a couple books or something like that, you would get a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. But I'm not really Pizza Hut anymore. Who else? Hopefully Popeyes didn't do it, because I'd cause a riot. Give me my Popeyes.
But
who else we got?
I just want to say, in terms of like counterpoint and who is in support of Black Lives Matter, Ben and Jerry's.
Yo, shout out to Ben and Jerry's.
I think I'm gonna go get that ice cream. Pecan resist
ASAP.
Like, they legit, yeah.
I love it. I love it when people take, corporations taking a stand like that really blows my mind, because it's like, yo, you had this power the entire time. Y'all could have been said something. It doesn't, people don't have to keep dying on video for y'all to say something. But now that you did, it's kind of like, all right, appreciate it, and thank you for speaking up.
They're speaking up. They're donating, I believe.
Yeah, they're going in. Ben and Jerry's is going in. So
yeah,
I'm not really an ice cream type of person, but definitely Ben and Jerry's.
Nike had a statement, but I think there was like mixed reception with theirs. Reebok, people felt like Reebok's statement was much more declarative and
but Nike, didn't Nike already make a statement with just signing Cap with their the new face of the campaign and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know
what else they need. They need to say.
What's going on with that though?
Because I remember them actually putting Cap as their new face of their campaign, like last year or something like that. That was huge. Well, let me ask you this. What are you about to say?
So,
they got more people?
Yeah, it looks like Airbnb donated to NAACP and Black Lives Matter $500,000. Amazon donated a total of $10 million to 11 organizations, including Equal Justice Initiative, NAACP, Apple.
Don't tell me Apple donated to.
So apparently Zuckerberg wrote on a Facebook post on Sunday that he would be donating $10 million to groups working on racial justice.
Yeah.
However, this response has largely been overshadowed by his internal division.
They have so much money they can donate
to not flag or
party.
remove a number of Donald Trump's posts. That was a whole nother thing, but we're not going to get to that.
So give me some companies that we can't do without. These are the companies you're pulling up where they...
These were the ones that are actually putting their money where their mouth is and like donating for the cause.
That's cool. I can dig it.
For the fight.
So we got Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell.
The ones that are canceled.
Chick-fil-A, you're done. I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm serious.
You know you're going to have a weak moment. Don't even try it.
It depends.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. If I'm starving and Chick-fil-A is the only thing that's open, pray for me. All right, let's move on. Oh, how do you feel about people staying silent? Who do you think needs to speak up? And do you think
that was the hashtag. Hashtag Wendy's over party.
Yeah, Wendy's, I don't know. Their 4 for $4 meal was clutch. You know, when you're low on cash and you're going through the struggle, but Wendy's is cool. I'm not really... They're just good for their 4 for $4, but I'm not really a Wendy's fan.
Oh, that's what it is. It's CEO of the franchisee company, the Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Pizza Hut reportedly donated more than $400,000 to Trump's re-election campaign. So the companies we named are all under...
You sure Papa John's is not on that list either?
Moy or M-U-Y? I don't even know how they say this. So yeah. Were we gonna move on to?
How do you feel about people staying silent? Do you think it's important? Do you think they need to say something? Do you think they need to make a social media post? How do you feel about that?
I think that...
Do you think it's overblown if people don't do it? Like, because some people just aren't socially active, social media active.
Yeah. So I think that I saw people maybe that like wouldn't normally post on Blackout Tuesday, hashtag Blackout Tuesday, and things like that. But silence can be just as dangerous, right? Because it could be like you're complicit with the way things are right now. But speaking up and speaking out and protesting isn't the only way to engage in anti-racism, like to be anti-racist. There is through many actions. So whether it is protesting, whether it is donating, whether it's being conscious about where you're putting your dollar towards in terms of when you are buying, what type of businesses are you supporting? It's writing letters, signing petitions, writing, if you do want to like voice your opinion that way, blog posts and things like that. Any way that you can feel like either comfortable or what's your strength to do in terms of being anti-racist, do that. Just don't like not do nothing. If it's like I need to educate myself more, I need to read more, do that. It is not the job for Black people to educate you on what you need to know. Now you will find somebody on a good day that we're not exhausted, that will engage in discussion with you. And I hope that, closed mouth don't get fed. So I hope that people open their mouths to ask, like, hey, can I engage with this discussion with you? I have questions, or I read this piece on this and I'm just not getting quite, but don't expect a Black person to be like a walking encyclopedia for you and start like schooling you on stuff. There's a ton of great books. There's Google, and there's just a lot of information right now circulating on social media, and videos and documentaries, films on Netflix. Like there's different media forms in which you can get informed about what's going on, so you can start like engaging in the fight, in the conversation, and in checking your implicit biases and how you've been complying with this the systemic racism that has been in our country since the start of this country. So that's that on that.
There you
go. But yeah, I guess to get to
go
ahead.
I'm gonna just say it. You know what can really because I feel like we have a long way to go, and for the better part, people are coming out and standing up and being a part of the movement. Mm-hmm. But it's never a perfect world where you're not just going to change someone's viewpoints on how they feel about a certain type of people anyways, right? But I think the next movement, personally, after all this should be is America considering, or not even considering, they need to go ahead and just do reparations, mm-hmm. For the families that's been affected, which is all the Black, people, African American people that helped build this country. I feel like that would help a lot, because white America loves money, and they've taken most of the wealth anyways. Why not pay the people back that you promised? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Fact that, I don't call it a fun fact. It's not fun about it, but I don't know what else to call it. But
quick fact.
Quick fact that I came across this past week. I say, I'm informed, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I didn't major in African American studies. I've just been informed through reading, and also like in my doctoral studies, there were articles and things that we've read, and then just other books to inform myself, and the research that I'm doing. But so I'm myself still learning about history that's been, not taught in our schools. Not just K through 12, but in college, especially depending on the major that you have, right? So people go their whole adult lives not knowing any of this information. But when slavery was abolished, and I don't know if it was like the abolished like first time around or when it was really abolished, the slave owners in the South were given
you keep hitting the table too. It's gonna be a lot of feedback on the mic.
Oh, was I this whole time?
You kicking it, you hitting it. Watch.
Sorry, y'all. But yeah, they were given like a stimulus package, or I guess what they felt like was their reparations. Like, hey, sorry we did this thing. Here is financial compensation for you.
That could be true. It's probably,
I'm telling you, it's true. It's a fact. Like I just.
But it's like, all right, stimulus package. What we just received, $1,200, right? Versus corporations getting trillions or not trillions, but millions.
Oh yeah.
So it's probably the same thing. Like, hey man, I'm sorry. Here's $5. And some clothes.
No, and I don't know what the amount was.
Exactly.
I didn't go ahead and read into it. What are you saying right now? Are you saying?
No, I'm saying we don't know what their stimulus package is. They may have given it to them.
But what I'm saying is that it.
But was it enough?
Why are you asking that?
Why you keep hitting the table again? You're doing it now.
Why? But why are you asking that?
No,
question?
I'm just saying like you don't know what's given. But I'm saying like, what did they give? I want to know what did they give back to the slaves.
Oh, so you didn't hear a word I said. That's not what I was talking about.
What
That's
you
not what I
talking
said.
about?
That didn't happen.
What?
I said when slavery was abolished, they paid the slave owners, sorry for this happening, retributions, compensations.
Oh, they paid the slave owners.
Yes, the
I thought you were talking about the
owners.
slaves.
That's what you about to get me whole fired up. I was about to.
All I'm saying is they need to pay. They need to have really reparations, not no programs or nothing like that. Like, oh, we're gonna give you programs here. No, not none of that. I'm talking about straight up cash. Did you know? I've read that Germany pays the victims or the victims' family of the Holocaust, the Jewish family. They still pay them to this day. Reparations.
Oh, I've heard about that.
It's the same, same concept. You know what I mean? Like y'all need to pay the people here that built the country. Pay them. I don't care if it's going to take 10, 20, 30 years, but damn, all they asking for is, I've seen that meme where it's like, you lucky black people only asking for equality and not revenge. That's real.
I mean, that's not just a meme. That's literally what. And
not a meme, but it's just someone posted it. I'm like, yo, that's true.
And I'm gonna credit the proper woman that said it because, her speech has literally, everyone has felt it, to the bone. So Trevor Noah had, a really great conversation or post when he talking about the riots and protests and looting and all that, and the concept of a social contract and how that's violated when the police is supposed to protect and serve, and instead they're murdering us. So check Trevor Noah out for that. But he also has reposted at Kimberly Latrice Jones, and this was on D Jones Media, where I mean her final, watch the whole video. I think it's like 5 or a little less than 6 minutes long, of her explaining very clearly what systemic racism is in this country,
Yeah, that was dope.
And why it's a problem, and why we've had enough, we're fed up, we're tired, and
I'm tired.
She's like, they lucky we want equality and not revenge. But before I move on to the last piece on just taking care of yourself and mental health, I do want to say that, I identify as a black woman. I identify as Afro-Latina, and there's some videos and posts and stuff, a lot of stuff coming up within the Latinx community about like where they stand, and where, like, my parents are from Dominican Republic, where Dominicans stand, and some problematic videos out there, and posts that certain Dominicans are talking about and are saying, people just don't take to it well when they get checked and when they get criticized. And it's not to, I mean, if as a result you feel anger, guilt, shame, embarrassment out of it, whatever, that's what it is. It's not comfortable to be called out on being oppressive, on being racist and discriminatory, but it is what it is, and it can be repaired, it can be corrected, we can move forward and do better if we know better. But you have to be open and receptive to hearing that the narrative you're carrying, that Dominicans don't have racism or don't have colorism in their culture, like that's not true. We definitely do.
Every culture has it.
We
Every
definitely
culture has it.
I mean, I'm not gonna get here and get to a whole history of like colonization, all the stuff, and how like these ideologies are passed down of white ideals, and the phrase mejorar la raza, better the race, which refers to like, oh, get with a lighter person or a white skinned person to better the race. Like it's that wouldn't exist if we didn't have that like within our culture, and that being an issue. And that's not to say like, oh, every single Dominican or every single Latinx community or subgroup or country, every single person in there is that way, but that culturally or like as a nation, it is an issue. And And so I'm not even going to get into the history or even just most of recent events of what had happened in that country. I say in that country.
Do you feel like that
in my parents' homeland? I wasn't born there. I was born here, but I love my culture and my family, but it's been difficult to discuss the information that people receive, in their textbooks in their schools growing up, and this whole thing of mestizaje, and that we're of mixed races, which we are, but they want to like only highlight the Spaniard, Taino, indigenous races, and not the African part of it. And it's like it's all included, and so I just say to everyone, because I've gotten in back and forth with a number of people, and I hadn't done this, I think, since like the Obama election, and I was just like, what? Like, I mean, you were even saying like, babe, just get off. Like, what are you doing to yourself?
You be getting into social media battles. I just be like, yo, leave it alone.
Emotional, and invested, because I really want people to hear me out, and to challenge like what they've known for a long time, to think like what that their narrative is a true narrative. And it's just,
that's not the way to go. The best way to do it is in person. In person.
It's a lot.
And the thing is, I see you get affected by it for a few hours too. Like, you just stay quiet. You got to get off your chest. You call somebody else to vent about it. And this is the effects of you getting your feelings and emotions into someone's post. I always tell you, just leave that alone. Why you need to say that? I know you want to get off your chest, but it's the reason why we have the podcast. Get on the podcast, speak it out.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't
want the people that you care about, and people in your community that you don't even know, because I've gotten into back and forth with people that I don't even know, and it's just like
I leave it all alone.
Like you want just them to to do better and to be open. Like,
people already set, you know what I mean? Like, especially online, it's like they hide behind this wall, and they set on what it is they want to think about, how they want to think about a person or their thoughts or their beliefs about something. So it's really a lost battle. There's nothing you can do on there. Yeah. Unless you go viral and do your own type of video, but that's rare. But, save your peace by not saying nothing. Let it flow right past you, in the ear, one out, out the other. Let it just go right through you. Don't let it disturb your peace. Because I've seen so many videos or posts even about Asian people, right? I use myself, for example. I don't let it get to me because, what was recently, like Chinese people or something like that, right? And then the whole Asian people started like rallying behind Chinese people and stuff like that. For me, I don't really identify with Chinese. I'm not Chinese. And they're like, how come you're not mad? I'm like, because I'm not Chinese. I'm Southeast Asian. But even that, I think about it like, I'm not, I have compassion, and I wish certain things didn't happen to everybody pretty much. But when it hits home in my community, and then I start thinking about, when my people go through stuff, our Chinese people or anybody going as hard for us we did for them. Because I keep it all the way real with you. I stay quiet because it's like, first of all, it's a lost cause to do anything online to battle. But at the same time, I feel how black people feel when I go into the corner store. They don't really see me as Asian. I'm keeping it all the way real. They don't see that. It's like they actually would say, or I would hear stories later, oh, that person, I thought he was black or something like that. And I know that's the reason why I didn't say anything, because I know how black people feel when they go into the corner store, to some of these Asian corner stores or Chinese restaurants, because I get that treatment too. So I know I know how they feel. So I didn't say anything. I actually empathize with black people more. Sometimes I actually would tell people this, and then they were like, no, you gotta be kidding me, you gotta be on our side. I'm like, it's not about being on your side, it's about my experiences growing up too.
You empathize
with that. So I know how the brothers and sisters feel when I don't know, like nail shops or Korean shops come in their community, soak up all the, just come in there and take all the money and not giving anything back. And I'll be telling them, like, just give something back. They've been telling y'all this for years. All they're asking for you is be a part of the community. Don't come soak the money out their neighborhood. That's all they're asking. If you have to listen to what they're asking for you to do.
There's these so many businesses that you have like weekly or daily interactions with, that they become very much a part of your life and your community, but it's so transactional.
Very transactional.
It's like,
and to their defense, I know how Asian people are. I shouldn't say Asian. I know how certain Asian people are.
Baby,
I don't know how to say.
It's a muddy waters now.
It's really muddy waters right now. I don't know. I can tell you the stereotype of generalization of Asian people. We're not known for our customer services, like skills, like our greed. Because the culture of an Asian person, I should say, is more of staying quiet, don't make eye contact, say as least as possible. Don't say don't talk
as little
too
as
much.
possible.
As little as possible. And the best way to respect the person is not say, don't make none of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like American culture, but I understand that part of their culture. I said their culture. I understand that part of my culture. But at the same time, once you're in this country, once you're in someone's neighborhood, you have to adapt.
Be a part of the community.
You have to learn the language. And when I say language, I'm not talking about language like, yes, speaking, but you have to learn the ways of the neighborhood. So
and be a part of the community.
You got to be a part of the community. You have to know certain things. You know what I mean? Like you have to learn it fast. There's been a lot of like Chinese restaurants I've been to. They're cool, like mad cool. They have a certain swag about them where it's not phony or they're not trying to put on. When they meet me and all like that, they just like they know how to make you feel comfortable. So I understand both dynamics of it, but once you're in their neighborhood, you're at their mercy as far as what it is they want. If they tell you this is what they've been wanting for years, you better adjust. Just don't take their money. Start investing in the sports team or doing something just to help out. Talk to the community leaders out there. That way you guys can have a better relationship. And when y'all see me in the Asian corner store, y'all better say hi to me too. So yeah, that's real. I didn't really have a chance to explain that part because I stayed quiet the whole time just because I just knew what was going on. And I felt how black people feel when I go to these places. So
yeah,
y'all heard it from me,
There's just so much that's going on. So do the best that you can to, be as informed as you can.
Gotta
but
be informed, man.
Don't go down a rabbit hole of like information overload.
Yeah.
Because I know I've done that the past 2 days.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
And it's a lot. When I was, trying to meet a deadline for my dissertation was different because I was able to like not be on social media, compartmentalize and focus on one thing. And even then I still had emotions. I still had like a breakdown. Like I still felt drained. But this is a very different energy than what I've been feeling this week of anger and like anxiety, lingering anxiety and stuff like that. So definitely going to be taking more breaks from social media and not getting into online debates. Not doing that anymore.
Yeah, especially with strangers. It's you're gonna lose in that. If it's family members, that's a different story. You can call them right up and be like, hey, what did you mean when you like this post or shared this post? Or it's easier to communicate. But
no, that's not necessarily true.
When I say easier,
I say they're accessible and you can make a choice.
See, that's why you're in a doctorate program. You know these
communicate,
words,
but for me, I think for many people, it's even harder to have those discussions.
That's why I leave it alone. Certain people when we meet up with family gatherings, you notice I don't talk about none of the stuff that we actually notice. I just keep it moving. Hey man, how you, man? I miss you, bro. I miss you, sis. Or how's everything going? Oh, cool, nice sneakers, man. Did you cop the Jordan ones that came out? Like stuff like that. We keep it real light, real simple. Talk about sports.
And I'm not a surface level person.
But the thing is, you have to understand that to keep the peace in the family, there's a time for everything to discuss everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for a lot of family members, it's no time. So,
Unless it really bothers you or affects you to the point where it was.
I have been bothered.
It was a personal attack.
I have felt personally attacked, and felt my my thoughts, opinions, emotions, experiences have been
then you would
minimized or invalidated.
Then what you would do, which
so-
you haven't done, was just pull them over to the side, talk to them. But I didn't.
I'm like I said,
it's still out there. I just didn't want to to keep the peace within the family. You don't want to make a scene out of it, especially that's how I would want to run our family.
Scene. I don't know what scene you're referring to. Ain't no scene. I know that.
I know how you get.
Well, I'm passionate. That don't mean it has to be a scene because I'm speaking passionately about something that is so tied to
if it's a personal thing,
my
like
values
to the side.
and my livelihood. But
respect, truth, dad.
It's anyways, as you see, this is
we're going on
something embedded in our lives and our marriage, especially because we are an interracial relationship and marriage, coming from different cultures and customs. There are things that have come up. Mm-hmm. Right. And I appreciate that, like, you and I have open dialogue about things, and there's certain family members that we'll have open dialogues with, and certain ones that we haven't yet. Maybe one day we will. But yeah, that's, those are waters that we're navigating right now. But so to wrap up this episode, I was looking for, there's so much information out there. It's a lot, and that in itself can be overwhelming. And there are places online that you can find, even if you just Google for resources or support. But one that I found, two resources. One that I'm definitely going to be watching because I want to be able to be more informed is one of my close girlfriends told me about a special that happened with PBS a few years back. Oh, this is more than a few years back. It was 2011. It's like a 4-episode series called Black in Latin America. So I'm going to be checking that out. Episodes, like, one is Mexico and Peru. The other one's on Brazil. The other one's Cuba. And the other one's Haiti and the Dominican Republic, An Island Divided, it's titled. So I'm going to be checking that out to get informed. And then I found a page on self.com that is for, it says 44 mental health resources for Black people trying to survive in this country. And this list is broken down in, like, people that you should follow on IG, and also brands, collectives, and organizations to follow as well. And so, like, just to name a few, because it's a pretty good list. Like I said, it's 44 that they've listed here. But
give them a few.
In terms of podcasts that I've listened to, the Read is a podcast that I listen to. Kid Fury and Crystal. There's also Therapy for Black Girls podcast. And that's with Dr. Joy. I don't want to mess up her name. Hold on one moment. Yeah. Joy Haven Bradford. There's also profiles on IG, Decolonizing Therapy. That's with Dr. Jennifer Mullen.
Off their handle alone, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm checking that out.
Alicia McAuliffe, licensed mental health therapist. This one's called Black and Embodied. Balanced Black Girl podcast. Then I'm going to check them out. Highlighting wellness from the Black woman's perspective. Black female therapist. Black Girls Heal. There's also a section here where they have the list of directories and networks for finding a Black or allied therapist. So prior to this list, I only had known Therapy for Black Girls. So there's also Therapy for Black Men, Therapy for Queer People of Color, Zen Care, the Association of Black Psychologists, Melanin and Mental Health, Black Virtual Therapist Network, and the list goes on. So we will leave the link to the website
in the description
box for you all, as well as the PBS Black and Latin America website too. So yeah,
that's it.
We always say we're gonna be short, and we go for a long time. But
we haven't been doing this in a couple weeks anyway, so
yeah,
hour long is not gonna hurt nobody. I'm glad that we were able to do this, and keep up and share our views with our followers and get it off our chest on a podcast scale. And
if you made it through this long, thank you for sticking.
Yeah, always thank you guys. You guys
with us through this. It's a heavy one. It's been a heavy week.
Heavy week, man.
So
and then
make sure to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Protect yourself.
Learn, stay informed.
Make sure you talk it out too. Just
take action. Take action and talk. Yes.
Yeah, talk it out with your peoples first, because we tend, especially guys, we tend to not talk about it. We see it, we internalize it, but we don't actually have a chance to speak to someone about the events that's happening and how it affects everyone, right? And guys, you're not immune to it. So make sure you get with your family or your spouse or your boys and just talk it out, man. It really helps to just center you, put things in perspective, what's important to you, keep your family close and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this video up. We appreciate you joining us, and y'all stay safe out there. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, bye everyone.
All right, love y'all. Peace.